I mean, come on, guys. This woman has no will of her own. She is weak, and everybody knows it. We just can't say it to her face because she's the first lady of our country. And you know what? That makes me sad sometimes. Professor Elaine mocked Melanie angrily in front of the class. Barron held on to his seat, trying hard not to interrupt, but he couldn't sit and watch someone insult his mother and be quiet about it. He pushed his table forward and stood to his feet. The whole class looked at him, wondering what he was about to do. He began to speak, but the professor was dumbfounded. She didn't see that coming. On a sunny afternoon, the lecture hall was lively and noisy as students rushed to find seats. Barron, who came early, sat calmly and wondered if such crowds were usual. Soon the whole hall was packed to the brim, and by 12:30 p.m., the professor stepped into the hall. Then, like a conductor taking the stage, Professor Elaine McCaffrey entered the room. Dressed smartly in a blue blazer and black skirt, she arrived with authority. The students became silent and were ready to listen. "Good morning, class," she greeted, and they replied, "Good morning, ma'am." She then asked everyone to settle down as the lesson was about to begin. Today, we will study feminism and its impact on society today. She took a marker and wrote boldly the word feminism. "So, what is feminism?" she began. Meanwhile, Barron sat in the front row. He was, in a way, enjoying the class. He was not paying attention, though. His mind wandered to business strategies and ideas, and how to profit from the businesses he had already started. He was a business major. So, what was he doing in class, you might wonder? Extra credit? He was in a psychology class because of extra credit. His grades were not failing, but he thought it would be possible to graduate with first class if he took an extra course. He just thought about a brilliant business idea and kept ruminating on improving it. All of a sudden, the class burst into laughter. This jerked him back to reality. What are they laughing about, he wondered. His neighbor laughed so hard that he hit Barron's shoulder. Barron looked at him, annoyed. It's not like he got the joke, but this prompted him to pay attention in class. As he began to pay attention, he actually realized that he was beginning to enjoy himself. His perception of this course had changed by the time the class was over. "Now, students, I know this is the first class this semester, but I will give an assignment." The whole class groaned in unison. Barron smiled. If there was anything college students disliked, it was doing homework. Now you have to write a composition on what you consider to be true feminism, and a woman who you feel is a true feminist. Do not be afraid to speak your mind and express yourself, to be done and submitted in the next class. With that, the students dispersed. Barron sighed, but he did not even consider that when signing up for this extra class. It meant one more course with homework. At home, Barron hit a roadblock. Who would he write about, he wondered? His mom? His sister? He blew a breath in frustration. He considered the women in his family. Could he really consider them feminists? What did he regard to be true feminism? Modern feminism was all about being strong and independent. However, the women in his life were no modern feminists. This was a dilemma. After trying for a few more minutes, he blew a breath of frustration. "I'll try again tomorrow." He was not a quitter. As his father usually said, if you try it one way and it does not work out, then you just have to try again another way. He sketched out the business plan that came to him during the class. It was still sketchy, and he needed to fine-tune some parts, but it looked like it was all coming together. He did his other assignments and then went to bed. The next day, Barron was still staring at the assignment the professor had given. He had no idea what to write yet, so he decided to go out for a walk. By the time he came back, he had received inspiration and began writing. A new week arrived, and Barron had completed his composition over the weekend. He was excited about his work. "I wonder what Professor Elaine will grade me," he thought. On Tuesday, which was the day for his next class with the professor, he brought along his assignment. Immediately after class, all the students handed in their essays and bid each other farewell. As Barron walked to his next class, he got a call from one of his friends. "Hey Barron, where are you?" he asked. Barron replied, "I am on my way to entrepreneurship class. I just got out of Professor Elaine's class." "What?" his friends exclaimed. "You are having a class with that woman? You must be a pretty hard-headed dude." Barron's brow furrowed in confusion. "Why?" he asked his friend. "Well, she does not really like your family, especially your mum. And she's pretty vocal about it, too." That came as a surprise to Barron. "Well, I did not know any of that," Barron said. No worries, dude. Just keep a low profile. And let's hope she won't notice you, his friend advised, then added, By the way, are you available for an outing tonight? Barron answered, Yeah, I'll be there. They exchanged other pleasantries and then hung up. Barron looked at his phone with a frown. He knew his mother faced criticism, and people did not like her. Some because she was the president's wife, but he did not really consider the fact that he could run into one someday. His mother was perfect in his eyes, so the fact that someone did not see her as such baffled him. Maybe I think that way because she is my mom, he thought. Even at that, Melania Trump is a great woman, despite what anyone says, Barron consoled himself. Elaine McCaffrey sat in her office grading the assignments she had given to her students. She was meticulous with the assessment, ensuring she understood what the student was trying to portray before awarding scores. Her goal with this assignment was to know how her students think. She finished grading a sheet and then turned to the next one. It was a write-up about Melania Trump. As soon as she saw who it was about, she grimaced. She had a strong dislike for Melania Trump. That woman is an embarrassment to us American women. How did Americans even accept the fact that their first lady was not born an American? She looked at the name of the person responsible for writing such a script. Barron Trump, she called out. Then, her mind went into overdrive. As in Melania's son with Donald Trump, no wonder he wrote about his mum, she mused. By the time she was done with work for the day, 2 piles of paper were before her. The bigger pile was for the students who fulfilled her expectations, while the smaller pile was for those with whom she had issues. Barron's paper was at the top of the lesser pile. She looked at his work and picked it up. Then she read a few lines and shook her head. All this is going to give me a headache, she mused. She had another class in about an hour, but first, she needed coffee. The next morning, Barron woke up late and arrived late to Professor Elaine's class. When he arrived, the lecture had started. Professor Elaine saw him and said, Young man, next time arrive on time, or you'll leave my class. Is that understood? Yes, ma'am, he answered meekly. He quickly sat and kept his head low as people looked at him. So much for avoiding attention, he thought sullenly. Elaine continued her speech. So, class, I've graded your assignments. While I was impressed by most of you, some of you did not satisfy me with your answers. It seems such people did not understand what you were asked to do, so I will have you do it again. The following people should please wait behind after the class: Andrea Stephen, Drew McIntyre, and Barron Trump. A bush went over the crowd. Barron, as in Donald Trump's son? Someone asked. No, it can't be. I heard he is doing a business major, another replied. Silence, Elaine called out, and then the students obeyed. The class continued till the end. Meanwhile, Barron was annoyed and a bit upset. How could his essay have been wrong? He knew it had been written well, and he had captured the highlight of what she wanted. So, how did he do poorly in it? He was unable to concentrate during the whole class. When the class was over, he walked to her desk. Miss Elaine, he called out, I am Barron Trump. Elaine paused and turned to look at him. She gave him a once-over, and then a cold sneer flashed across her face so fast, Barron almost thought he had imagined it. So it's the latecomer, I see. Well, I'm not even surprised. People like you tend to think you can easily break the rules and expect no consequences in return. But enough about that. You are here, I believe, for your script. She picked it up, looked at it, and then scoffed. If you think this class is a joke, I would advise you to drop this course, Mr. Barron. I don't condone any form of laziness. You may be the president's son, but I don't think you can buy good grades from me, Mr. Barron was shocked and a little hurt. People like him. What did she mean by that? Ma'am, I can't seem to find anything wrong with my script. I did everything you asked us to do, so I fail to understand how I have problems with this, he responded. Oh, really? So you do not see any problem with this, right? How about we ask the class tomorrow and see their response? Ma'am, that's not what I mean. Let me. But she cut him off. No, let's share your writing with the class tomorrow. Let them know how feminist your mother is. She took her bag and walked out of the hall. Barron sighed. He knew he was in big trouble. The next day, he made sure to be early for Professor Elaine's class. She stepped in, and then the class began. So, class, today we will be addressing an essay one of you wrote for the previous assignment. I asked for a perfect description of feminism, and he wrote about Melania Trump. Not that anyone understands what she is doing in an essay on feminism, but okay. Then she began to read out parts of the script and mocked Melania Trump. Barron was pissed off. Sure, it was one thing to criticize his homework, but it was entirely different to make fun of his mom in a classroom. His blood boiled. She began, "This student actually thinks Melania Trump is a good example of feminism. That woman is nothing more than a plastic airhead who follows her husband's every order and does not know how to think for herself. How can someone like that be a feminist, or anyone's ideal example of who a feminist should look like? I mean, come on, guys. This woman has no will of her own. She is weak, and everybody knows it. We just can't say it to her face because she is the first lady of our country. And you know what? That makes me sad sometimes." Barron could not hold himself anymore and stood up abruptly. The sound of his chair scraping the floor caused all around him to look at him. Considering his height, Barron standing up in class caught much attention. "Ma'am, I don't mean to be rude, but Melania Trump is none of those things you say she is. And yes, I consider her my version of what a feminist should be like," Barron said. Elaine smirked coldly. The whole class had gone silent. "This guy is standing up to a professor. The audacity," people thought as they looked at him in wonder. Elaine had not been prepared for Barron to stand up to her. However, she tried to play it cool. "So tell us, Barron Trump," she said, emphasizing his name. "Do tell us what you think makes your mother a feminist." The class began to whisper. "Oh my God, the president's son in our classroom. How cool is that? He is so tall. But I agree with Miss Elaine, though. His mom is not really a feminist. I thought he was majoring in business. So what is he doing here?" Barron cleared his throat, and the room became silent. "Melania Trump is my idea of a feminist because feminists are supposed to be strong women who achieve wonderful things without being dependent on a man. And I think that sums my mother up perfectly. She is beautiful and fought her way to the United States to achieve her dreams. My dad was not a part of her life then. She then opened her own jewelry store to become financially independent. Her husband is the president of this country and a very rich man, but she chose to make her own money." He paused, then continued. "When my father became president, my mother left all she was doing to become the first lady of this nation. She has always protected me from the media and put everything in place to ensure I am safe. She understands the act of sacrificing yourself to protect the ones you love. She is smart, educated, and brilliant. She is actively involved in politics and does not allow people to think she is less just because she does not fit their status quo. How could she then, with all these qualities, not embody true feminism?" The class went silent for a while as they thought about all Barron had said. Then they broke into a round of applause. Barron felt 10 feet tall for defending his mum. However, Professor Elaine's face was expressionless. He was worried. What could she be thinking? Would she fail him in this course? He became sober. "Now that we are done with all the ruckus," she said coldly, "let's get back to the topic on hand," and the class continued. Barron avoided her gaze throughout the class and kept his gaze steadily on his notebook. Immediately after the class, he rushed out into the crowd. Call him a coward, but he was done with all the drama for the day. He just wanted to shower, have dinner, and go to bed. Elaine returned to her office, shocked by what Barron had told her. "Come to think of it, I've never considered looking at the First Lady that way. I've always seen her as someone who was with the president just for his money," she thought. As she meditated on what Barron said, she discovered that he was actually right. Melania Trump may not be perfect, but then, who was? This did not mean she had developed a soft spot for the woman, but at least she could respect her more. She looked at Barron's essay again. It was like she was seeing it in a new light. She smiled. This was why she loved psychology. By looking through people's eyes, she could see from new perspectives she had never imagined before. "It's time to regrade," she thought, then began her work. Then she headed out for a meeting with her head of department. Meanwhile, Barron was panicking. He did not know how badly he had messed up by doing what he did and how angry Professor Elaine was. After meditating on his actions, he decided he was not sorry for standing up for his mum in class. If it had to happen again, he would still do it again. He sighed. All the worrying was not helping out. At that moment, he got a call. It was his mother, Melania. He picked up and greeted her. "Hey, Mum." "Barron, it's been a while," his mum said. Barron smiled. "Mum, it's only been 3 days." "Exactly a while," she replied, making him laugh. "How was your day?" she asked. Barron sighed. and she knew something was wrong. "Is everything okay?" she asked. "Yes, Mom, just a small class issue," he said. "Tell me about it," Melania said, sounding concerned. Barron sighed. If he did not tell her, she would continue to pester him until she got a response. So, he broke down and told her what happened in class. Melania was quiet as her son narrated what happened in his class. As he spoke, pride welled up in her chest. She had raised a good kid. When he was done, she said, "Barron, my dear, I'm so proud of you for standing up for me. It doesn't matter what that woman says or what she does. You did good, and I am so proud of you." Barron felt a sense of peace settle over him as he heard her say those words. "Thanks, Mom. I really needed to hear that." She smiled at him over the phone and said, "Any time, my dear." As soon as Barron hung up, Melania frowned. Her son was having problems in school, and it was all because of her. A wave of sadness zinged through her. Then she remembered how he handled himself and felt proud. Her little boy was not so little anymore. He had grown up, and she had to accept that she would not always be able to protect him. She was proud of the man he was growing up to be. The next 2 days, Barron sulked. He did not want to attend his psychology class, and this feeling of doom kept hanging over him. "Why did I pick this stupid course?" he lamented to his friends one night. However, they encouraged him and told him everything would be okay. He was unhappy and buried his face under a pillow. On the morning of his class with Professor Elaine, he woke up early and rushed through his morning routine to be on time. By the time he reached the hall, the classroom was almost empty. He hoped to find a seat where he would be hidden from Professor Elaine's view. When it was time for the class, the hall was filled with people. Barron sat quietly in a corner, imagining what the class would be like. He could not quit now. He had just started. If he did, people would call him a wimp, and he had to prove them wrong. Soon, Professor Elaine entered the classroom, ever punctual and ever immaculate. She looked around the class, and her eyes locked with Barron. Then she looked away. Barron sighed. Maybe she had forgotten about what happened, he prayed hopefully. He was even able to relax a bit and enjoy the class. Toward the end of the class, she said, "Barron Trump, do well to see me in my office after the class." On hearing that, he slumped in his seat, defeated. "Yes, ma'am," he responded sadly. "Seems like the president's son is in trouble," someone whispered. Barron packed his stuff and walked bravely to the professor's office. As soon as he got into the office, Barron began to apologize. "Ma'am, I'm so sorry for what happened in class. I really did not mean to offend or embarrass you in class." "Whoa, hold on. I'm not angry with you over what happened. Annoyed? Yes, but angry? No." Barron could not believe his ears. So she was not going to fail him. He now felt stupid for all the worry he had been doing for the past 2 days. "You stood up to defend what you thought was right. There is no harm in that. And you were not disrespectful about it. I'm the one who should be apologizing. I acted a bit out of order, and I am sorry. But that doesn't mean I'll go easy on you because you are the president's son. You still have to work hard and pass this semester just like everybody else if you want to hit your target. And one last thing," she said, and handed him his paper. Barron walked out of the office with a wide smile on his face. He had gotten an A. He could not wait to tell his mother, so he texted her the good news. She responded with, "Congratulations, my son. I'm proud of you." By the time the semester results were out, Barron had passed with flying colors. He was fulfilled and took a deep breath as he pushed toward the future with an open mind and a positive attitude. What are your thoughts on Barron's response to the professor? What's your definition of a feminist? Let us know in the comments. If this video was inspiring, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. You can also turn on the notification bell to be notified of new posts. Before you go, watch the other videos on your screen. See you next time.